The organ music was soft, the air heavy with roses and perfume, and every pair of eyes was on me. My wedding day. The day I had dreamed of since childhood. My dress sparkled under the soft light, and as I stood just beyond the grand church doors, bouquet in hand, I whispered to myself, this is it. The start of forever. But forever shattered in a single moment. As the priest prepared and the guests hushed into anticipation, my fiancé, Ethan, leaned in close, squeezed my hand, and whispered, I just need to step outside for a quick call. Just a business thing. 2 minutes, I promise. Then, with a confident smile, he slipped away. I watched him leave, a little annoyed. What kind of man takes a call at his own wedding? But I trusted him. I had to. We had been through so much together. Minutes passed. Too many minutes. I shifted uneasily, my bridesmaids glancing nervously at me. My maid of honor tried to calm me, whispering, he'll be right back, don't worry. But the knot in my stomach told me otherwise. Finally, I excused myself. My heels clicked softly against the marble floor as I moved toward the side door of the church. The hallway was quiet, echoing with the faint sound of Ethan's voice. I froze when I heard him. His words weren't frantic like a man dealing with business. They were smooth, familiar, almost tender. I'm marrying her because she's safe. You know that. You're the one I really want. But I can't risk my future on you, it's too uncertain. With her, I'll have stability, money, and the perfect image. You understand, don't you? My blood ran cold. My bouquet slipped from my hands, petals scattering across the floor like broken promises. Safe, stability, image. That was all I was to him. Not love, not devotion, just a safety net. My heart pounded so loudly I thought he might hear it, but he kept talking, chuckling softly into the phone. Besides, if we keep this between us, I can have the best of both worlds. She'll never know. I couldn't breathe. My knees nearly buckled beneath me as the weight of his betrayal pressed down. The man waiting at the altar wasn't the man I thought I knew. The future I had built in my mind, the home, the children, the laughter, was nothing but smoke. I stumbled back, unnoticed, my vision blurry with tears. The church bells tolled, calling me to the life I was supposed to step into. But I knew I couldn't walk down that aisle. I couldn't tie myself to a man who saw me as nothing more than a transaction, a convenience. So, I did the only thing my heart told me to do, I fled. I ran through the church's side exit, the crisp air hitting my face as I pulled up my dress and sprinted across the lawn. Gasps and whispers filled the church behind me, but I didn't care. My world had already exploded, and I was done pretending. I ended up at the little cafe down the street, still in my wedding dress, mascara streaked across my face. The waitress stared, wide-eyed, as I collapsed into a booth, shaking. Are you okay, sweetheart? She asked gently, and for the first time in years, I told the truth. No, but I will be. Hours passed. My phone buzzed relentlessly, calls from Ethan, from his family, even from mine. I ignored them all. Eventually, I answered one call, from my father. His voice was steady, filled with quiet rage and unconditional love. We'll come get you, he said. You don't owe him, or anyone, an explanation. That night, surrounded by my parents and siblings, I cried until there were no tears left. But beneath the heartbreak, a seed of strength began to grow. I had escaped a prison I didn't even know I was walking into. The days that followed were a blur of scandal, gossip, and pitying looks. Ethan begged me to hear him out, to believe his lies about a misunderstanding. But the memory of his voice on that call haunted me, sharper than any knife. I refused to be his convenience. I refused to settle for half a love. Slowly, I began to rebuild. I went back to work, threw myself into projects, and reconnected with old friends I had drifted from while planning a future with him. Piece by piece, I stitched myself back together, not the same girl who once believed in fairy tales, but a woman who understood her worth. Months later, I walked past the same church, the bells ringing for another couple's wedding. Instead of sadness, I felt something else, gratitude. Gratitude that I had heard the truth before I vowed my life to a lie. Gratitude that I had the courage to flee, even when the world expected me to smile and go through with it. Looking back, I realized that day wasn't the end of my story, it was the beginning. The beginning of learning that love is not about safety or appearances. It's about honesty, respect, and devotion. And I would rather stand alone in a wedding dress than walk down the aisle to a man who didn't see my value. So yes, on my wedding day, my fiancé left to take a call. And what I heard made me flee from the church. But in running away, I wasn't abandoning my future, I was saving it. And to anyone listening who feels trapped between what you've been promised and what you deserve, choose yourself. Walk away from anything less than love that's real. Because sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is not say, I do, but say, I won't.